I'll talk about a couple things. I got a couple of. Okay. I got one political thing to talk about.
How you doing?
Oh, it's already started. Okay. All right.
Good to see you again. Here we are, episode 4.
Episode
Outdoors.
4.
Picnic podcast. We've been thinking about renaming our podcast to that.
The Picnic Podcast.
Yeah, that's a nice area. I like it.
Yeah.
I can totally be down with this, yeah. We got kids in the background. I got family.
We've got some drinks over here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's mix the two together.
A minute in, you can't do that. You know you can't cuss in the first minute of YouTube?
Why?
It has a possibility of being demonetized.
What?
I think that's a rule now.
Okay.
It's part of the guidelines, yeah.
Why the first minute?
I don't know, because I think what the algorithm that they have does is they try to filter out a lot of explicit content.
Okay.
So there's a lot of content being uploaded every second of every day. So the algorithm tries to
check the first
minute to review the whole episode, basically. That's the best they can do.
Yeah.
Efficiency-wise. So they do that.
All right, cool. Now that I know.
Now that we know.
I mean, I don't really cuss in my videos either way, but in this one, we might. So we got to watch out for the first minute.
Yeah.
Has it been 1 minute yet?
Has it been 1 minute? It has been 1 minute and 14.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm just kidding.
Such a naughty boy you are. You're a naughty boy. So, how's it going? How you doing?
Doing well. Just, I've learned some new things. I've been enlightened to life and the mysteries of life. So.
That's so exciting.
Yes. That's that. I mean, I always have to think about what did I learn that's new that I can bring to the audience and to the podcast, right?
That is true. You don't come back just for us. You come back for the content and what we talk about, right?
Yep.
At least I hope so.
Yeah.
So, what do you got for us today, Parth?
What I got. So, I learned, and we talked about this before, actually. I'm making a video on it right now, the hierarchy of scientific evidence, where we talked about there's 7 levels to scientific evidence that people are just throwing out crap left and right. They're like, oh, but the evidence shows this, but the evidence shows that. It's like, hold on there, buddy.
There's a lot of studies being thrown left and right.
Yes. Yeah. What kind of studies? That's the real issue here. The hierarchy is used mainly for biomedical research, but it's still used in other fields. Like, I don't know, when you talk about evolutionary science and whatever other studies that you want to do. But the hierarchy goes something like this. Let's just review it really quickly. If I can remember off the top of my head, because I just wrote out the script for this. Mm-hmm. We have expert opinions and like case reports and anecdotes at the bottom, right? Okay. So like your personal experience, like, oh, I did this and it caused this. But that's just one person, and then one person can say anything they want, right? That's just an anecdote.
Right.
News reports and news articles can say whatever they want. They can be used, they can, I guess, give you where the source of information is, but a lot of times they don't. So they just state it and people believe it because it's like, oh, check out this news article. This news article says something.
Yeah.
But that's at the bottom of the hierarchy.
That's just Facebook right there.
That's like Facebook and CNN and Fox News and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Now, that's not to discredit any of what they're saying completely, but that is to say that you have to be careful of what they say. There are some times when they give information, they're not completely useless, because you can find the actual peer-reviewed research in the sources that they give. And then you can go check that, right?
That's true.
So that's one thing you can do, but generally speaking, news reports, anecdotes, and expert opinions, right? There's a certain criteria for experts that you want to watch out for. Like, here's some of the things that you want in an expert, whether you want to listen to them or not. And there's like a whole list of things, right? Which I will go over later on. But I mean, that's the bottom of the hierarchy.
Yeah. 7, right? 7 levels of
7 levels
of evidence.
Yeah. The 7th one is the most tricky one, the last one, because that's the evidence that gets thrown around the most, especially in politics.
Okay.
News reports,
articles here and there.
Biased news outlets that are like small independent outlets that like don't even know what the hell they're talking about.
So what's the highest level of evidence that people should go to?
Good question. That's a very good question. So systematic reviews and meta-analyses. That's what it's called. That's at the top of the pyramid. So this is basically, so it takes chunks of observational studies and whatever's in the middle of the pyramid and it combines them.
Yeah.
So people they take studies from all over the place, and that can include so many different studies. In fact, I was reading one yesterday on the gender pay gap. You know how Jordan Peterson always says that evidence and the meta-analyses have proven that the gender pay gap barely exists. Or I mean, it exists, but not due to racism 100%.
What they claim
It's
it to be, yeah.
Yeah, 19 other factors, right, amongst racism being
So
one
there's
of
a
them,
reason
maybe.
for that gap, right? And there's good reasons
Yes,
for it.
yes.
Okay.
And there's logical reasons for it.
Right.
You know, like pregnancy leaves and whatever, things like that.
It's different circumstances throughout the board.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So yeah,
Discrimination being one of them, but we don't. It's a much smaller factor than.
it's not the major factor.
Yeah, yeah. It's practically non-existent, right? And this is a meta-analysis, right? This is not CNN at the bottom of the hierarchy saying the gender pay gap, all these independent media outlets. But where are they getting that source of information from? Because this meta-analysis took 260 observational studies, okay, from the middle of the hierarchy, combined them and assessed each of these studies for the quality of their study.
Right.
And then they ranked them, and then they like had it's a very complex analysis. There's like 35 pages of just like of analysis, and like we take a class. I took a class at UCLA under the econ department. It's called econometrics, and what they teach you is statistics mixed in with economics. And you know what a regression is?
Yeah, economic wise.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
loss of like economic growth or something like that.
No, regression is in stats. So like, let's say you have a bunch of like dots plotted on a graph. How can you create a line going through that graph that best resembles those dots being all over the place? Right? You take the distance between the dot and you take the mean. Essentially, it's a complicated process, but you create a line, and that line is a regression.
Right.
Right. So. They had all these like regressions and plots and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, if you look at the gender pay gap here, whatever.
Yeah.
They analyzed it from the 1960s to the 1990s, and they said the pay gap went from like 65% to 30%.
Sure.
And nowadays it's practically non-existent, because if we did pay women according to the definition of, you know, subtracting discrimination and everything,
Right.
their pay would actually go down by
wow.
0.17%.
Interesting.
Which means we've practically reached it already.
Right.
The equality between the sexes in terms of pay gap.
Okay.
That's reasonable, right? Based on equal pay for equal output of work.
Okay.
And equal time and effort and types of jobs and all that, right?
Okay.
But would you say that what is stronger evidence? Some independent media outlets saying it's not moral for women to get paid less. We have this gender pay gap and this and that. And don't you know that this study shows that there's a 9% pay gap and whatever?
Yeah.
But, or would you trust that, or would you trust the systematic analyses, the systematic review and meta-analyses?
I think what seems more attractive to people is that it's more simpler to understand when there's outlets explaining it to them.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the meta-analysis and, you know,
Yeah.
the hardcore statistical analysis,
Yes.
people, they brush it off because it's a lot more complicated to understand. That's not good. No. Yeah, that's not a good taste. Rum in general is not a good taste.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is such a fiery topic, the gender pay gap, because, you know, people have this conversation and they have in mind like discrimination, or you hate women, or you support the patriarchy, and you know, things are corrupt here and there. But main reasons for the gender pay gap is because men generally, well, for one, they work more hours. Two, they work more dangerous jobs than women do.
Construction and all that kind of stuff.
Construction, you know, life-threatening jobs in general.
Coal mining.
It's also a fact that men, they tend to not go on maternity leave. So there's also that going for them. As where women, they usually, you know, want to have kids when they're 30 or something like that. And that, you know, believe it or not, drives them down economically.
Yeah.
In terms of the numbers. Do you want some water?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I got my chaser. More alcohol.
Wash it down with more alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in my experience, in my family, my mom makes the most money.
Okay.
So she's a hardworking individual that provides most of the income for our family.
Which is not a problem at all.
It's not.
That's a great thing.
That's a great thing. Right?
Yeah.
It's how things turned out to be.
Yeah.
Right? So my
Yeah.
dad's retired.
Yeah.
Right? And my mom's still working.
Yeah.
I think my sister makes more than my brother-in-law, to be honest, because
Okay.
she works at a university.
Nice.
And my brother-in-law works at a metal industry.
Mm.
So, yeah, we're not totally against women.
Yeah, not at
I'm
all.
a prime example of, women making more money.
Yeah.
So
Not
it
at all.
happens. But overall, they look at the hierarchy and they say, oh, look at men. They take up most of the positions
In power.
in power. CEOs, executives, even President of the United States. So they're still complaining about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, takeaway from this is to go with the high level of evidence.
Yeah, do a logical analysis where like you're not just being told by some news outlet, especially news
Like
outlets.
when you're going through Facebook, don't go like, oh, that must be true.
Yeah, exactly.
tweet it
or
or
if
something
someone
like that.
tweets it or something like that. Or here's another part of the video where I'm going to explain this: appeal to authority. There's so many people who appeal to their authority, especially celebrities out there who will say, "Well, it's such a shame that these people out here, they're what's it called? This racism, or look at this is racism, or look at that, that's sexism." It's like, okay, hold on there. You're one person. You're not involved in politics. You're not a researcher.
Okay.
You're not, you are a celebrity who has influence over a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And it is beneficial to you to look good in front of your fans and your peers, right? And it's good to play into the system because you are a part of that system, that Hollywood, But because if you didn't, you would have the potential to get fired. You have the potential to be shunned by your fans and lose a fan base. So you have all the incentive to play along with this whole, agenda that the left has, right? Without doing your research, and you do influence people, and that's an appeal to authority. That's not a rational thing to do. People don't.
I think most people from Hollywood, their perspective is different.
Yeah.
Because they live in a world that's so different from what we live in. I mean, it's not
100%.
even a normal life. So
Yeah.
in Hollywood, it's super competitive and it's super, I would say it's corrupt, left and right. I mean, you're bound to meet someone who's very untrustworthy.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to most actresses and most Hollywood people who believe in that kind of agenda, like the leftist policies and whatnot,
Yeah.
it's because they experience a lot of that, I guess a lot of that pain firsthand. So, for example, Harvey Weinstein, he was the one who abused a lot of women in general. And a lot of women pretty much took that risk because they wanted to, get higher up in the Hollywood hierarchy.
Yeah.
So I would say most of the people who follow that agenda, they have an experience with corruption firsthand.
100%.
So they're so angry and they're so hurt by that kind of experience where they do nothing but amplify and echo these kind of agendas.
Yeah.
So
Echo chambers.
pretty much. I mean, I don't mean to put them like in one category, but
Right, they can provide good. This isn't the case for every single celebrity because they can provide certain weight to political discussions that are good.
Right.
But for the most part, from what I've seen at least, they tend to lean in a very biased way that does favor their career. So you have
Yeah.
to be careful of what they say.
most people that I listen to now, they don't trust in Hollywood at all.
Yeah.
Like Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan. They're like, anything comes out of Hollywood is crap and bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally a fantasy world that they live in.
Yeah.
And that's their job. But, there are actors who do good things and there are actresses who do good things and they try to make the best of it. And
Yeah.
it's so weird in that kind of field.
I agree.
I couldn't be an actor or an actress, to be honest. Like,
Oh, really?
like a famous one.
I would love to be one.
You would love to be one.
I would love to be one. I took an acting class and I just loved it. It was a great experience.
I could act, but I couldn't handle the fame.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I can see that.
But yeah, it's
Have you done a 16 personality test, by the way? The Myers-Briggs one?
I think I have.
Myers-Briggs?
I got which one did I get? I don't remember like the letters,
Yeah.
the arrangement, but I got the advocate.
Okay.
Is that
The advocate.
Is that like one of the diplomacy type of
Okay.
personalities?
I can see that.
Yeah.
Diplomacy, meaning like you can Like an arbitrator, or like someone who can bring people together and like negotiate with them?
I think so.
Okay.
Something in that nature.
Okay. I can see that. I feel like you don't get mad or emotional very easily.
That was the main trait of that personality. It's
Okay.
like, very stoic, very.
Yeah, very stoic.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So that was like, oh, okay, check.
Yeah.
But for you did, was it the commander?
Commander, yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
so according to that personality type, it's very like they're very
Competitive.
Competitive is one.
Yeah.
Another one is that they get angry very easily, and which I have a problem with, and that comes from my dad, like genetically, dude. Like you should see him sometimes. He just gets
Genetics.
pissed off at like the smallest things. But we have to have things go. It's a very ruthless and rational perspective. Like you don't care about morality is not your number one concern, let's put it that way, and you have to like have you have a vision and you have your goal, you understand the way that things work, and you have to understand how to maneuver around it, and that's the whole commander archetype, right? Examples would be like Steve, what's his name, the Gordon guy on the chef show.
Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
That's one example. Steve Jobs is another example.
Steve Jobs,
I don't know
okay.
if you guys knew this, but Steve Jobs was a total asshole.
He was. He
Yeah.
mistreated his workers like crazy.
Big time.
Close to Walt Disney.
Big time.
Yeah.
One of the times where he was like, okay, we have these plans for an iPhone or an iPod to create them. I think it was the iPhone.
Yeah.
Or I think it was the iPod, my bad. He asked his engineers, like, how long do you think this is going to take? Engineers responded. They said, like, oh, I think it's going to take about 6 months or maybe even a few more months after
He's like,
that.
no.
He's like, you have 6 weeks to make it happen. If you
Yeah.
don't make it happen in 6 weeks, you're fired.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Dude. But the guy he was like, he didn't give a crap about people's feelings. It was like, you're either efficient and ruthless and you're going to make this shit happen, or we're going to find someone who is going to make it happen. And like, we don't care about your feelings. You're going to get fired if you don't get it.
In that kind of field, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's competition, business, you know? But yeah.
Mac nowadays, you can see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, what he did was necessary for his brand to get out there.
Oh,
because he's everywhere now. So you have the Apple.
He's going down in history.
Yeah. And I don't really think he's that much of a role model. I just think he was very aggressive in that kind of marketing attitude.
Yeah.
But I don't see him as like, the person to have a painting of in my bedroom. Because he got the job done pretty much. Successful in that way.
Yeah.
Very aggressive, very assertive. Yeah.
Who would you see as having like let's say you had to pick two people.
Two people? Like as a big role model?
Like a role model that you would put in a poster in your room for.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good. Jordan Peterson.
I would have to agree with you on that.
I already have one of him.
Yes. I think I remember you told me that. You ordered one, right?
Yeah.
The one with like the glasses.
Yeah, he's
the
all like
gangster.
cool and gangster. Yeah. It's Jordan Peterson.
I would agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and
would
then
agree.
another one. Oh, I don't know, man. Him and who else? Jeez. Maybe like Keanu Reeves, maybe? I don't know.
Keanu Reeves, really?
Someone like that? I don't know. What about you?
John Wick.
John Wick, yeah. Played that role very nice.
Yeah. If I had to pick two people, I don't know. That's a good question. So, Jordan Peterson would be one of them. Quite hands down, he would be one of them. Mm-hmm. But I admire so many people, dude. There's like a whole list of them. Like I can tell you.
There's a bunch of role models that we have.
In each different, I guess, field, right? Like I have favorite YouTubers, like Lauren Chen. I have Jeff Nippard, right? These people that are like on YouTube. And there's a different realm where there are people like, I like Steve Jobs. Not in my like top 5.
Sure.
But he's there. He's on that top 10 list. Who else? Jordan Peterson, Jason Capital.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have one of him for sure.
For sure.
Just because of I don't think he impacts my life as much nowadays, but he did like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago. And between 4 and 2 years ago, like that period, just a lot. So Jordan Peterson and Jason Capital, by the way, those two probably.
Good choice.
Yeah. Maybe Robert Greene a little bit, but I don't think he's impacted my life as much. Although I like his works. He's in the top 10.
Maybe Rollo Tomasi?
Rollo Tomasi, yes. He's in the top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think if it weren't for him, we probably wouldn't have met, or probably wouldn't have gotten along so well.
Yeah, that is true, because
books.
when I was going through my breakup like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I normally I'm the kind of person that is open with people, and I usually disclose, whatever I'm feeling. So whenever, when I was with you, I would just talk about it. I was like, oh yeah, this, that, and whatever. And you were like, you should read the book called The Rational Male, and there's a whole series on it.
Yeah.
I didn't take it seriously the first time. I was like, okay, interesting. I might read it. I might not. Probably not. But it's just because I get book recommendations all the time, but I don't always go with them.
Yeah.
Then you actually brought me the books.
Yeah,
you actually
I did.
brought me the physical copies of the books, and I was like, okay.
I let you borrow them, I think.
Yeah, you did. You
did.
did.
Take this.
Yeah, 100%. Take it, read it, and I appreciate that because it's helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
And so I went home and I didn't pick up the books for maybe like a week or so. And then I don't know what it was. I was just feeling like, I just wasn't feeling good one day. I was just thinking about it, and like the whole, the negative emotions seep in when you're going through a breakup a lot, And so you
takes time.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time to get over it. And so when I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I guess let me give these books a shot, like it might help me out and might help me rationalize things. And I picked it up and I was like, oh my God, this is pretty much what Jason Capital teaches, except it's more in-depth analysis. There's literally reasoning, evolutionary reasoning, sociological, evolutionary science, biological.
You got really into
it. Like detailed analysis. And I'm like, oh, so this is why this works. Oh, that's why. Okay. It's not like I just have to blindly follow now what Jason Capital was teaching. Yeah. Now I have reasons as to why, and I can really go forth with it and not question what I'm taught, and just, I mean, I guess it's always good to question what you're taught, right? But it was good.
I still remember, you were so into it. I'm like, maybe it's a little too into it.
Yeah, that's what happened. I actually ended up finishing reading the book that summer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It was, I can honestly tell you that was one of the first times where I've actually the first time where, wow, that's interesting to think about, because that was the first time I had actually read a book fully through because I was purely interested in it.
Oh wow.
No, actually, that was, and that's what actually got me more and more into reading.
Right.
That was the gateway, because I was like, wow, I actually thought about this 2 years ago. After I finished the book, I'm like, wow, I finished this book, and it was purely out of interest, and I finished it quick. Why? Because I had the necessity to read it. I had to think and process through, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that really happens with a lot of books nowadays.
Yeah.
Most of it feels like work.
Yes,
I gotta get through this.
I gotta get through this. But it's like, no, dude, there is such a thing as reading for enjoyment.
Yeah.
And just for the pure knowledge that you will gain just out of the pure stimulation of your mind, I guess. And just for the fun and the pleasure that you get from that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was the book that opened that route up for me. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Sorry, that's after that I started picking up the 48 Laws of Power, and I was like, okay, if I can get through that, I can probably get through this, and this is very interesting also, and so let me down that road. So
it was pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I never, because your story is pretty great, because it's like, oh, this is how I got into it.
Yeah.
I forgot how I got into it.
Yeah.
Maybe because due to pure boredom.
Yeah.
Because I saw the books here and there. I'm like,
yeah,
it looks pretty good.
You got a little bug on you.
I do?
It's like that's right. Yeah, there you go. Perfect, got it.
I'm okay.
Anyway. You're good.
Yeah, I used to visit the bookstore every now and then. So like Barnes & Nobles, and there was a local bookstore in the downtown. So I used to do that on my free time. Pick up books here and there. I used to read a lot of Star Wars novels.
Yeah.
Like those small paperback ones. The ones
were they just like analysis of it, or was it like
they were like actual stories?
Okay.
Yeah. So they were like, they used to be canon, but they're not anymore ever since Disney took over.
Yeah.
Because they're like older ones, so like made in like 1980s.
Okay.
Or something like that. So I used to read those.
Ew, what? Dude, look at this. What is this?
Maybe it's from the tree.
Maybe?
There's some sort of green liquid on his hands right now.
That's freaking gross. Do we have
water
to clean it off? Yeah, please, thank you. That's disgusting. I don't know if that's like shit or what.
Let's just say it's from the tree.
Okay, it's not coming off.
Awesome.
Look, there's even some over there on the table.
Technical difficulties, sorry. We're in nature.
Yeah, terribly sorry about that. All right, I'm just gonna wipe
anyway,
it on my... yeah, keep going.
What was I saying? So yeah, bookstores here and there. you know, Amazon's really taken over nowadays. Let's talk about them. So
Sure.
they've already taken out most of the bookstores. Borders, that used to be a store,
Thank you.
but no longer. So Borders is taken out. Barnes and Nobles is barely hanging on because they sell mostly novelty items and a bunch of like gifts here and there. So they get a lot of business during like Christmas. So yeah, Amazon's really taken over in respect to, you know, novels, books, all those types of merchandise. But
I'm afraid it's like gonna get.
you're afraid.
Just gonna keep that lid on there. Yeah. You're saying? No, Amazon's taking over. Yeah.
1-day shipping.
1-day shipping. Yeah.
1-day shipping. I see
Yeah.
a lot more UPS trucks around my neighborhood.
Oh,
they're
really?
working double time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That might be an effort on Amazon to. They're competing with Walmart actually. So
Apparently, yeah, they're
yeah.
being competitive now.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that.
Walmart is offering 1-day shipping, I think, and so they decided, well, we have to compete with that.
Yeah.
So they chose, I think, around 10 million products, which would be easy to deliver in 1 day, and they were like, screw it, let's go, 1 day.
That's
And
crazy.
they have the money, right? Like they have so much profit and like
Who
the
says
cap.
they don't? Yeah.
They take up so much of the space in the tech industry in terms of market capitalization. So I mean, they have the room to spend money. Usually businesses, they profit and they spend that money, that profit that they get on expanding their business or just pocketing the money, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm guessing they want to build even bigger and grow. So they're like, hey, let's spend some of the money on, you know, paying these people more or hiring more truck drivers or something, and
Yeah.
let's get this process done.
They really need their own distribution system.
Yeah.
Because I know they've been having issues with some logistic companies. So like FedEx. Oh, FedEx no longer delivers their packages.
Why?
They had a disagreement. I read that. I read it briefly on an article. FedEx is no longer in business with Amazon.
Wow.
So now it's purely like UPS going around.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's something. That's bad, dude.
That is bad.
Because that's like Amazon's like the #1 dealer you want to go with, dude.
Yeah. That's crazy. So it's UPS. And these are the three main companies that have their own distribution system. So they have their own planes. They have their own trucks.
Yeah.
They have their own boats, I think, even. So it's UPS, FedEx, and DHL, DH something. I forget the name.
Okay.
But they also own railroads too. So yeah, it's those three main companies, and there's like different airports around that have like most of their planes and whatnot. Amazon, they've been looking to build one of their own distribution systems, but they have the money. But the main concern is like where to put their airports, like which state to go to, and what offers the best deal. So they're definitely going to be in America though.
Okay.
So there's that going for them. But they've gotten so big. Did you think they would get this big?
We're talking about Amazon? still?
Amazon, yeah.
Oh,
They're huge.
I didn't think they would get that big, to be honest.
Me neither.
When I first heard about Amazon years and years ago, I was like, okay, Amazon, that's cool. Like, I'm not gonna. It was just like another eBay to me. I was like, okay,
Right.
well, we got eBay, we can buy stuff online with. We got Amazon, you can buy stuff online with. I never understood the fact that eBay, you can have private sellers. Amazon, really not. You can still have private sellers, but like, I think there's a harder process to get through to the private part of Amazon.
I think that's a lot tougher to get that. Yeah.
Yeah, to get that label is like you have to have like a company or something, and you have to have like an actual like legitimacy behind why you're I guess a company that, you know,
Or like an
wants to
independent
sell
seller.
privately. Yeah, like an independent seller, exactly. eBay, you can just create an account, boom, you're there.
Yeah, eBay used to be the thing. Now
Yeah.
it's no longer talked about anymore.
Yes.
It's all about Amazon.
Yes, and I never liked eBay because I never trusted people online.
Same here. Yeah, you always
Yeah.
get like crap products.
Exactly.
Like they misrepresent like what
Yes.
they're selling.
And even after like good ratings, even if people got like decent ratings, I would just not trust them. And so I decided eventually to go with Amazon because I realized, oh shit, like, okay, Amazon provides pretty much every product at every at a decent price, at a
Yeah.
cheap price, and I can, if I have Prime, which I do, I had the student discount at first. Literally, I don't have to leave my home.
That's
2-day
kinda-
shipping.
It is kind of scary. You don't even need to leave your home when it comes to most shopping.
And now it's like 1-day shipping for so many products.
Well, because the notion of like going to a mall and like browsing the shops
Yeah.
hardly exists anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like the mall that I live down the street from, it used to be like an indoor mall.
yeah.
But then they transformed it into a outdoor mall with like a couple of shops, ice cream shops here and there.
Yeah.
But no longer any like shopping.
Like actual shopping.
No longer like actual shopping.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the main reason why malls are shutting down, like even La Puente, that's going downhill. The only reason why it's still open is because of the theater, AMC.
Right.
So, Amazon.
The stores are going down.
Yeah. So Amazon's really changing the way people shop and the way they spend their money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why go to a bookstore when you can browse the books online and buy them with free shipping, 2-day shipping?
Yeah.
That's when I realized they got big. Was when the 2-day shipping came out.
Really?
I was like, wow, 2-day shipping on over 1 billion products.
Free 2-day shipping too.
Free 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So, you know, they're in the electronic business. They're in the novel business, clothing, even some furniture.
Dude, everything. My dad literally wanted to order something to like fix some lawn stuff. He had like some timer that like sets off like, or not lawn stuff, like some timer that we have some lamps in the backyard, and the lamps, they are set to a certain time to turn on at a certain time, right?
Sure.
The timer was like malfunctioning or whatever, so we had to order a new one. My dad's like, can you check on Amazon? I was like, sure, okay, we'll check on Amazon. And they had that free 2-day shipping. And the cheapest price, like the normal price that you would get at a store.
Free.
I was just like, okay, I don't have to leave my home. Like, I'm just gonna do it from Amazon. I think that's the biggest appeal, is that you don't have to leave your home and actually go to the store and like look at the different options and whatever else. It's all on your screen.
Yeah.
It's like the lazy way. I think technology just makes everyone lazy over time.
In that respect.
In that respect, yes. Yeah.
I think the ultimate pinnacle of humanity is when you don't even need to leave your home for anything.
Yeah, I know.
So you have DoorDash, right? So they can deliver your food at any moment's notice.
Yeah, and I think the prices for that are going to go down soon too.
Yeah,
just because
I think it's reasonable now.
Yeah.
I think if you sign up now, you get like a free $100 delivery.
Wow, really?
Credit. That's how they do it. But yeah, it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
And it's not so far from.
AI is only going to help out.
Yeah, it's true. AI even. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and there's this one individual. His name is Navil something. He's an Indian guy. Apparently he's really popular. He's a huge intellectual. He made the argument that AI is not as crazy as most people say it is. So he says that self-driving cars aren't going to come like in the next 10 years. They'll probably come in the next like 30 maybe.
Okay.
He says it's not that advanced. He also says that AI are not on the edge of like taking over
like
humanity, like Terminator style. I
can imagine the Terminator thing for sure. Yeah,
that's a little overboard.
Yeah, that is a little overboard. For now, at least in today's day.
At least for now, yeah. Maybe not in our lifetime, but
yeah.
You know.
No.
I agree with him, to be honest. When it comes to all this AI talk, most people are blowing it out of proportions. Like they're talking about, you know, AI, you know, taking over pretty much all these trucking jobs here and there. That's not to come anytime soon, but they're still working on it. There still needs to be a lot of improvement, and you know, AI in terms of in the home, when it comes to like
computers and all that,
housekeeping, things like that. So even computers, they're not anywhere near like doing your laundry for you or making your breakfast or things like that.
Have,
they're
like,
far from that.
Doing all that for you.
We're far from that.
Yeah.
And you know, I've read a couple of sci-fi novels here and there, and AI has been like a cool thing to experiment with. So there's been the idea that there's like AI taxi drivers, where they can pretty much take over all the taxi employees and just replace them. There's been AI in terms of like exoskeletons. Or like for construction workers, they do a lot of heavy lifting and things like that. So they can have like this exoskeleton mechanical thing to help them out, so they can keep older people in business. So there's also AI in terms of like helping the disabled. So like you can modify either, well, it's even now, right? So you can give them like a mechanical robot arm or leg. But in the novels I've read, they actually have like an implanted chip that would help them mentally. So they can help like kids with Down syndrome. They can help kids with like some kind of mental disease, so dyslexia. So that was pretty cool to read about. There's been AI in terms of like the military, where they can cut down the people lost during wars and in battle. So there's also that going for us, maybe in the near future. But to think about ideas for AI, look to sci-fi novels.
Yeah.
Not Star Wars or anything like that, because that's kind of
Not realistic.
It's not really realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very,
Out there.
what's the word for it? It's like childlike.
Yeah.
Because Disney took over.
pew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's got the Jedi and everything.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
know.
there's some type of fantasy to it. But yeah,
But realistic. Oh crap. But realistic or AI that exists.
well, think about some AI now. Like, what's some AI that exists now?
Good question. I don't know.
Something that learns as it goes.
I don't know any examples, to be honest.
I know Tesla is on that front right now.
Really?
In terms of driving, so
Okay.
they're constantly updating their vehicles in terms of improving the autopilot, in terms of improving different systems in the Tesla. I've heard there's like over like 100 electrical systems in the Tesla itself. So there's that front that they're dealing with.
Yeah, I've actually been in a test drive with a Tesla where they were like, just park next to an empty parking spot and then press the auto park.
Oh, it does it for
Press
you?
the button, you just sit back, relax, and the Tesla like maps it all out. It parks for you just
Yeah.
by itself. I guess that's the one example that I can think of.
I've heard of another story where on Joe Rogan, this one guy, he had a Tesla, and he was walking out of the gym after his workout, and he was able to press a button, and the Tesla would actually drive up to the front of the gym and pick him up.
Oh my God. He's like, yeah, I'm badass like that.
He's
you
like,
know?
yeah, I'm badass, and he drives off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What AI?
in terms of other AI, what is there really? Maybe there's like specific security AI. I think there's like facial recognition.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of security systems use that, especially in airports.
Yeah.
What else is there AI in? Maybe aircraft,
Maybe.
like in the military. Maybe even space shuttles,
Okay.
where it can regulate like different kinds of systems within the aircraft itself. What else?
Right.
Well, in terms of like AI for the normal everyday person in society, there's not much.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not much at all.
Really not much yet.
A lot of it is manual. So we still drive our cars. We still get up in the morning, take a shower. We still, have to clean the restroom, have to clean the living room, things like that.
Have you seen Wall-E?
I see what. Yeah.
It's kind of like, I feel like the future is going to be like that, where people are just nihilistic. They're just like really big and they're just like sipping on their ice cream with the chairs like
With the
floating
chairs.
them around wherever they want to go, and like the robots attending to their every need. And it's like nobody is not only just fit, but nobody is like, everybody's living a nihilistic, very in their head lifestyle. They're not really.
Well, it's like that in Japan, to be honest.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's virtual, and a lot of people in Japan are so plugged into the technology, or it's hard to get out of it. Because it's addictive in that sense, living
is.
in the virtual world.
It is.
So even on social media, right?
Yeah.
So that's evident.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we won't get there one day in terms of Wall-E standards,
Yeah. Not in our lifetime.
where we have to exit the Earth because it's so polluted
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then
That's right.
come back. No, I don't think we'll get there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who would say different. They say that pollution and climate change is really affecting the Earth. I think AOC said that Earth is going to be demolished by like
2030?
2030, something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah. That's false.
That's kind of outrageous.
That is literally outrageous. She's dumb, dude.
I mean, it might be.
No offense to her.
That's on record.
That's literally on record. She's dumb, dude. She has no idea. Even if that was the case, then there's so many scientists, Stanford scientists,
Right.
Harvard scientists that have claimed that climate change would destroy the Earth by the year 2000. The whole island of Britain would be underwater by the year 2000. Look at us now. We're not there.
Yeah.
We're not even close. It's already almost 2020.
Right.
And I think, again, evidence hierarchy. You have to look at the systematic analyses. You have to look, people want to feel like they're smart and they belong to the political spectrum, like they have their place on the political spectrum where they can give their opinion to society, and seem like they're very intelligent and moral, and they're fighting for the right cause.
Sounds like you're attacking the left right here.
I am. Just flat out, I am.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying global warming doesn't exist and it's not true. I'm not at all saying that. But you have to look at the evidence on how fast is it happening?
Right.
What is the degree to which it is happening? What are the side effects of that happening? It's a much more complex topic than what they just say. They'll throw out one or two stats and it's like 97% of scientists believe that global warming is true. Okay, cool. What else? I get that. I'm not saying global warming is a hoax like Donald Trump is saying.
Right.
But there is a book called The Moral Case for Fossil Fuels, which I haven't read all the way through, and I think
that's
maybe the first couple books.
One of its kind book, to be honest. There's not a lot of books that would go against
climate change
in general.
Mm-hmm.
So what that book generally does, I finished like the first couple chapters,
Mm-hmm.
But I think the main idea the book is trying to get across is that society has been very they've been beneficial from fossil fuels in general.
They benefited a lot, yeah.
Right. So coal, there's
Natural gas.
Natural gas, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and what it's done, it's improved the living standard.
Big time.
People in general.
Big time.
It's gotten a lot of third world countries out of a lot of bad situations.
Yeah.
It's improved America like crazy ever since the first industrial revolution, and it has done nothing but improve society overall. There might be some takeaways and trade-offs here and there throughout history.
Yeah.
So definitely pollution, definitely, I would say a warmer climate here and there.
Right. But the main cause of pollution would be cars, right?
Oh, definitely now. That's a big contributor, I think.
Right. And that was the case also before in like the 1970s and whatever.
I think so, yeah.
So cars nowadays emit a lot less pollution while they're moving than cars did when they were just standing still in the 1970s. So the technology itself has improved in a more efficient way where they're able to move the car forward and get around without emitting so much pollution.
Yeah.
So that as the technology increases, so here's the idea, right? Is that it's not just about fixing the environment and the actual place around you. It's about, here's another side of the equation that people don't consider, is that you want to improve the technology and have the means to fix the technology and to improve the technology around you so that you can sustain a global warming period.
Okay.
That's another solution. So you don't have to necessarily fix the environment itself and the global warming itself. But what if you are able to expand technology to the point where everyone had access to this technology and they were able to survive that global warming period? Would that be more cost effective? And would that necessarily destroy our planet if we went through that global warming period? Right? What are the actual effects of what's going to happen to the planet if we actually go through the global warming period?
Right.
Without doing anything to the climate? Because changing the climate itself would cost trillions and trillions of dollars versus investing all that into technology and finding a way to get around it, right? So let's say people say global warming causes, all these natural catastrophes like hurricanes and tsunamis and whatever, right? If that was the case, can we not build infrastructure that will last past a hurricane or a tsunami? Something that's so foundational that the building won't even collapse over a tsunami or like a hurricane.
Okay.
That is so strong. How do we do that? Well, we have to invest into technology, finding the right materials, and the free market typically would do that, but I don't know if the free market is encouraged to go down that road because we don't need it right now. But the government, let's say, subsidizes certain companies to go search for materials and technology that will help to sustain us throughout the global warming period, including all the natural catastrophes like hurricanes and whatever else, right? If the government does subsidize that, then the free market can come up with a solution where we can sustain ourselves through that. And if it isn't, it's like how much of it is a natural global warming, because Earth goes through natural global cooling and global warming cycles, right? Like the ice age and everything like that, right?
A lot of it's natural.
A lot of it is natural, right? Like we literally go through that, and we've proven that through science and everything like that. But the question then becomes, we have to look around the problem. Stop. I hate one of my pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is when people literally take things that they hear in the news, because it's so politicized, and expand and blow up the picture because they're in their echo chamber.
I think they amplify what they hear most of the time
Yeah.
through a lot of what they're fed.
Yeah.
So outlets like CNN, Facebook, and even Twitter,
Yeah.
they like to spew out their agenda on certain types of ideas on climate change, pollution, global warming. And a lot of people like to amplify that because it seems like a very moral stance to take.
Yeah. Because we care about the environment and the animals.
I was
and
trying
all
to,
that.
I was trying to finish your idea there.
Yeah.
But what I think most people need to realize is we consume a lot,
Yeah.
just in general. Like even, I think the average American now consumes more than the daily American, or the average American in like 1970, 1960. So we've increased our consumption by a lot. And we also waste a lot too in general. So there's a lot of food being wasted. We do our best when it comes to recycling, and there's gas being consumed every day, and there's a big demand for it. So I don't think the answer to fixing, a lot of this pollution and a lot of this global warming and a lot of this issues at hand is government. I don't think the government has that kind of power in terms of like fixing things. They can definitely regulate it, and they can definitely
Help companies.
they could, but they'll just piss off a lot more people in general.
Yeah.
So like they want to impose like a carbon tax.
Oh yeah.
So there's that idea,
Yeah.
and a lot of people on the left have proposed that idea. It doesn't seem like a bad proposal,
Yeah.
but it would definitely upset a lot of people, because a lot of people are going to be used to this kind of lifestyle that they're pretty much engaged in. So the amount of consumption they do today. So carbon tax, you're going to be essentially charged to drive more.
Yeah.
And people aren't going to like that in general.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you that technology needs to really advance in terms of meeting today's, safety standards.
Yeah.
In terms of like pollution and protecting the environment here and there.
Maybe AI can help us solve the global warming
I
problem.
don't know. Maybe they'll probably just say you guys are an infestation to the world and we got to take you out.
Oh God! Here we go, Terminator.
So, yeah, it's a very complex issue, and there's so many studies. There's so many studies that are confusing people.
Yeah.
It confuses me even. Like I don't even know what to go by anymore.
Yeah, no,
It's
seriously,
like,
I
well,
agree.
NASA says this. Well, this scientist says this. It's like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah.
AOC says this. It's so.
Yeah. I wouldn't listen to politicians in general. I mean,
No, I
just
wouldn't.
personally, yeah. I mean,
Listen.
I also think that politicians have their own agenda, so I think that's the last person you want to listen to,
Right.
whether it's AOC or Donald Trump or whoever the hell it is, right? I think the scientists who will actually give you published reviews and peer-reviewed studies and everything like that.
Yeah.
These are the people you want to listen to and actually go through their work, like look through. And I know it's a little bit difficult because people are like I don't want to listen. I don't want to walk through this whole 35 to 40 page study on the gender pay gap, for example, right? Or I don't want to walk through this book or like look through this book, because most people don't like reading. Most people don't like school in general, where they're like getting educated on this kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
I would say, if you really want to be involved in politics, if you really want to be involved in something that involves changing the earth or leaving some sort of mark on the earth, you have to put yourself in a situation where you're able to read and absorb knowledge, right?
I think you should take a test, to be honest, to vote on that kind of issue.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree
Here's
with
the
you.
basics of like the science.
Yes, if you can pass this test, you are able to vote for a current like issue or anything like
Yeah.
that. Because too many people are uneducated and they tend to fall for this like social media news thing, and they're like, oh yeah, let's just do this because it seems like the right thing to do, and it's like it's so incorrect. But then you would essentially be getting rid of democracy, right? Like
Right.
your ability to vote. and you're discriminating, right, against people who cannot pass the test, essentially, or who have a lower intelligence, I guess.
Okay.
Or maybe just people who haven't put in practice enough to actually understand the material.
The left really get mad when you put more barriers in terms of like basic rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in America. There's a lot of people with opinions of their own.
Yeah.
And people are going to disagree in general, but can we at least agree on most of the facts?
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Okay.
Can we agree that Earth is round?
Yeah.
Can we at least do that?
I mean,
no.
People have their freedom of speech, and
government, man.
with that, they have their freedom of ideas, right? I guess, and people think.
You see the sun? How? How is it?
The sun is flat. Also, it's just like it's like a little circle in the sky. It's not a sphere; it's a circle.
It's a circle.
But I mean, generally speaking, I think.
What were we talking about?
I feel like I'm falling under like a superiority bias now, like where it's like most people don't read studies, most people don't understand this, most people, and I'm like, who am I to say that, right? But I genuinely feel like that, where I think you see so many people falling under this groupthink mentality on I guess even both ends of the spectrum, especially the left, but both ends of the spectrum, where they're like, hey, let's conglomerate into this like little group. I believe everything that this group says. Everything. They just magically have the same opinions on every issue as this group does.
Uh-huh.
I got into this debate/talk last night where, and I was going to ask you about this, and I wanted your opinion on this.
Cool.
Let's say you have a kid, right?
Cool.
And the kid at 6 years old, and I'm not too familiar on this topic. I haven't done my research. But I'm just contemplating it.
Okay.
Your kid is 6 years old, and it's a boy. The boy, or actually, let's say it's a girl. The girl is acting like a boy. Very masculine characteristics, let's say. They're acting like a boy in the sense that they're like, oh, I always want to get my hair cut short. Which, by the way, another thing, I feel like getting your hair cut short does not necessarily correlate with masculine.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Like just 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, we literally had did we even have scissors like a couple thousand years ago? Like our whole evolution has been, without all these tools and everything like that. That doesn't mean like long hair corresponds to feminine, short hair corresponds to masculine. I think that's more of a social thing. You know what I mean?
Sounds like the person you were debating really cares about hair.
I mean, that was one point that they brought up.
Okay, sure.
But besides the hair, let's say that the characteristics personality-wise, psychologically, right, is more masculine. Let's say you have a 6-year-old daughter that says like she's always like getting into fights. She's always like saying like, yeah, I want to be like, she talks about cartoon characters and she's like, I want to be a boy. I want to be this. I want to be that. Let's say. Right? Would you, as a parent, if the kid is showing signs of being, let's say, like transgender and wants to switch their gender to the opposite gender, and the kid is like, yeah, kind of like encouraging it, and you go take the kid to a psychologist or whatever, and
So the kid knows about transgender idea.
I guess maybe not. And let's say they don't. Let's say they don't fully comprehend the whole transgender psychology and the whole movement and the whole idea behind it.
Sure.
Let's just say that there are people who they understand that like I feel like I'm a boy, but I'm a girl. Let's just say that, and they're showing you this because of the people that they are and everything, like that, right? So you take him to a professional. The professional says, well, this kid is showing tendencies to be more masculine. Okay. Do you think as a parent, if the kid was like, yeah, I want to be a boy, would you put that 6-year-old kid through a transgender like the sexual change process or whatever it is?
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that either. Now, the reason I wouldn't do that is I don't think the kid understands what the fuck they're doing, they're going through. Every kid is crazy. At 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years old, they have all these ideas. They're running around. They're like, they want to eat dirt. They want to like eat junk food. Like, They don't know what's going on and what's best for them.
Okay.
You know, I don't think that. I think there's a reason that the law says that you are emancipated at age 18 and you are a fully grown adult that can think for themselves at age 18.
Okay.
And I don't even know if age 18 is the right number. It could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. I don't know.
It should be more.
Yeah, I you know what's funny? One time I argued that the voting age should not be 18, it should be 21.
It should be 21.
Yeah, and I genuinely think, I still think that to this day.
Yeah, it should be.
Because your brain from scientific literature has said.
I think you should finish college first, to be honest.
Really?
In order to vote.
That's around 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our age.
Yeah.
So they say this, so the brain doesn't stop maturing apparently until age 25. If it fully matured. And if that's the case, then why is it that at age 18 we think that kids have the responsibility and the young audience has what it takes to go out there and vote and truly understand not only history, economics, politics, political science, and everything like that, but the deeper implications of that, philosophical implications of what you're voting for and who you're voting for. How do we expect most 18-year-olds to understand that? Because I went through a major transitional, personally, this is just me personally.
Right.
I went through a major transformational period philosophically and understanding-wise between 18 and 21.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of guys don't have it, a lot of people in general don't have it figured out at 18 at all. So why is it that the age is at 18 to vote?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. Why does the law recognize you as a person to vote at 18 and then the drinking age is at 21? I don't know. I think it's a tradition, to be honest, throughout American.
Might be.
Yeah, that's
It
probably
might
the
be.
main reason.
It might be.
Throughout American history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't honestly think that when you're age 18, 19, probably even 20, you don't have most of that, I guess, earnest attitude to really sit down and think about things in terms of like the politics and the direction of the country itself, or even the direction of the state.
Yeah.
People don't even consider that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you should finish college first before you'd be able to vote.
Yeah.
Because look what the left has done. They've really taken advantage of a lot of young people in general.
Big time.
So,
big time.
I mean,
and I hate to fucking say this. I hate to say it, but I think low intelligence people also. People who will not really consider anything but their emotions and the impact of what the left says.
Right.
You know, like they don't even want to consider. And it's fine if you aside yourself more left-leaning.
Yeah.
But to go on that end of the extreme end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
In fact, I hate it. I'm sorry I interrupted you for a second.
No,
but
go for it.
Just one quick thing. I went over a news article today with my sister, and I'm trying to get my sister to think not as the crowd of her generation, because she's younger. She's like 18 now. Okay. She's just turned 18, and I'm 22. She's 4 years younger than me. Okay. I'm trying to get her. All of her friends apparently, what I found out, are either bisexual or transgender or gay or lesbian.
Something about sex talk really gets them talking.
And I'm like, all of your friends? That's not
all of them?
Or did you just pick those people? Or did you are you sure? She's
everyone?
Like, no, dude, like practically everyone is nowadays. I'm like, that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. Even in our time, it wasn't like that.
That's not everyone. It's not everyone. There are way more straight people than there are, and it's nothing against that community. It's fine. Like, you can do whatever you want. It's a free country. Right. But it's not practical, and it's not real scientific evidence that the vast majority of people are actually straight. They are, you know, they say the population is about 3% of the male population is gay and 2% is lesbian. Okay. Of the female population. Sure. So she was saying all this kind of stuff, and I was going over a news article. There was a point at which Facebook offered 58 different genders that you could choose from. Okay. When you sign up for their account. Sure. At a certain point. I don't know if that's the case anymore. You can, nowadays, I actually checked this, I double checked it. I went onto Facebook this morning. It's literally this morning. And I checked, I was like, how do you sign up for an account? And it has first name, last name, you know, address, or not address, but like, you know, whatever it is. Then it says gender. It says male, female, and then it says other. Or it says custom, my bad, custom. Click on custom, and then it pops up a search bar or toolbar or whatever it is. And it says in the field, it says optional. So you can write out whatever you want, right? So it doesn't give you the options, but ABC News recently released an article that showed all 58 different gender pronouns.
All 58?
All 58. Actually, maybe there might be more.
I thought it was 100, but.
I think there was like 79 apparently. But 58. And I was like, okay, this would be interesting to read through. Let's see if there's any actual merit to any of this stuff.
Sure.
So I read through all of them and with my sister, and my sister was like, what is going on here? What is all this? This doesn't make any sense. In fact, let me pull it up right now.
Pull it up right now, folks.
Pull it up right now, because I promise you're gonna be shocked at some of the stuff that you hear.
Okay.
Did you have something to say? You wanna
My experience with that kind of mentality was back in 2008, actually. When I was like in 7th, 8th grade or something like that. I was a gamer guy, a gamer kid.
Oh yeah?
So I was on the PC a lot. I was playing a lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot of old-fashioned games.
Right.
And I met a community online.
Right.
And there were like these weird folks.
Yeah.
But they were fun to talk to here and there.
Right.
And what the hell was I doing? So I had the free time.
Yeah.
They called themselves furries.
Furry?
Yeah. I've told you this before.
Okay.
And what I did when I was playing those games was I became a moderator. I don't know if you know what that means.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you told me this.
So
Okay, I don't have connection here. I'm sorry, but
don't have
I'll tell you
connection?
about that later. Just finish your story. I'll tell you later.
yeah, long story short, I met this community. They were kind of weird, and they were the first encounter I had with like different genders and like different sexualities. Like, oh, I'm this person. I'm not really male or female. My reaction was, okay, cool. Are you gonna play or?
Exactly. Look, it's fine. It's a free country. You're able, if you want to engage in whatever you want to engage in, that's fine, dude. Like, you do your own thing, but don't impose that, and don't say that we're offensive if we don't believe in that, or if we don't, like, if there's no evidence to back that up, and if we agree with that evidence or something like that. Don't get into this groupthink mentality and mob mentality on Twitter where it's like, oh yeah, I'm so outraged, I'm so angry, look at this racism, look at this sexism, oh my god,
so
oh my god, oh my god.
going on.
Evidence. That's not evidence. It's not real evidence, right? You have to look at the hierarchy, think rationally, think logically, go do your own research, right? And territory. This is a mental model come up with by Charlie Munger, where the map is not the territory, meaning that the theory does not match up always to the reality, right? So theoretically, you can say like transgenders are like this, bis are like this, gays are like this, whatever it is. Right?
Why make things so confusing?
I don't know, man.
I understand that you want a unique type of label in respect to your own individual appearance, identification, whatever. But they're trying so hard to get it on their California ID or they're on their driver's license.
Oh god,
they're
dude.
trying so hard.
Oh, okay. Let me know if this sounds insane. Okay.
Go for it.
I on Instagram, I found someone posted this. Okay, someone retweeted or reposted this. Okay, someone I know that is very much involved in the social community that wants to fit in very much.
Cool.
And is very, 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 very leftist, right? So California, the DMV, is making you get a new, if you don't have a passport, I think that's what the case is.
Okay.
They're making you get a new driver's license or a new identification card if you want to fly to different states, or even if you want to fly out of the country, right?
Okay.
A new ID card that has like some other form of identification. And apparently if you have citizenship status or permanent residency, you get the card. If you don't, you probably don't get the card.
Okay.
So now I think I could be wrong on this. I have to double check my sources. I have to double check my research. But from what I know, people who are illegal aliens or who don't have any form of permanent residency or citizenship cannot fly to different states because they cannot get this ID, and they don't have a passport, obviously, right?
Okay.
So someone posted about it. This person retweeted it. And it said all this stuff in like a text format on the story of Instagram, and then it said hashtag Hitler moves.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know if Hitler did anything close to that. I think Hitler exterminated 6 million Jews, not blocked people from.
Oh, he was saying that it was as worse as or as bad as Hitler.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what they were applying because it's hashtag Hitler moves. What does that mean?
Oh, like a move from Hitler. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Like who is Hitler in this situation? Is it Donald Trump?
Yeah,
It's
is
the
he?
California DMV. Dude.
He practically looks like him, so I can understand the yeah.
He's white and he's male.
That's true. He is white and he's male. That's all you need right there.
That's all you need.
I've never thought that it would be so bad to be a white guy
Seriously.
in today's culture. It's like, wow, all white guys, they got to be bad. They're all you
Isn't
know,
that racism?
corrupt.
Isn't that sexism?
That is racism, to be honest, when they're trying to exclude a certain type of race out of their own culture.
By definition.
But that's not how they see it. They see it as liberation, and
Yeah.
they see it as moral
Yeah.
type of thinking. But it's just a bunch of people who are angry and a bunch of people who want attention. And if they go unchecked, things can get very bad very quickly. They try to shut down Jordan Peterson. They try to shut down Ben Shapiro. They try to shut down Joe Rogan, even though he's a leftist.
Even though he's liberal, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really strange. Sorry, you're liberal. I didn't mean leftist.
There's a difference between liberal and leftist.
Right. It's exhausting. It really is. And we keep coming back to this concept over and over and over and over again. Because, this kind of podcast, you can definitely tell that we are two individuals who have experienced this type of toxic platform of politics firsthand.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more people doing this, to be honest.
Yeah.
They need to be voicing their opinions, and without any, censorship or regulation, just authentic conversations here and there. But social media doesn't allow that because the platforms don't allow that, right? YouTube doesn't allow that. Twitter doesn't allow that. Facebook, Instagram, they don't allow that kind of authentic conversation.
Okay, I'm going to go on the record saying
On the record.
On the record. This is my opinion. This is opinionated. It is not necessarily factual, okay?
Opinions are dangerous.
It is not factual, for sure. Actually, I know for a fact it is not factual because I know examples that counteract this. But I can say with safe assumptions that the majority, not all, keyword here, not all. I hate when people misinterpret my position.
He said all. He said.
I knew he was Hitler all along. Unmask him. Send him to jail.
Take him down. Yeah.
No, in all honesty, I think the majority, not all, the majority of people that align themselves with this ideology so hardcore that they cannot get themselves out of it. They're in an echo chamber, and they're accepting of all this kind of mentality. I think that the biggest factor that leads down to that road is that they don't have a purpose or a meaning in their life. And what I mean by this is that they don't have any bigger thing to aim for, so they end up diverting their attention, bigger thing to keep them satisfied and occupied doing and going along in life, So they end up gearing their attention towards something else that comforts them, that by human nature we strive for a climb in our social status hierarchy, so that will help them get up the help them climb that social ladder.
Yeah, I think they rely on the
social media,
impulses.
right?
Yeah.
So by nature, they end up, especially people who want attention, will end up going to social media. They end up, falling in this groupthink mentality. They have, like Jordan Peterson would say, high compassion, right?
High agreeableness.
High agreeableness, high. The fact that they want everyone to be the same. Everyone to be the same. And it's not about equality of opportunity, it's about equality of outcome, right? So it's not about giving everyone an equal chance, it's about making sure everyone is the same. Because if they're not the same, then they're not equal. If they're not equal, then what are we doing here? It's not moral. But I would say that the biggest thing is that they lack meaning in their life, and they seek the wrong hedonistic pleasures.
Okay.
There's a difference between hedonism and eudaimonia. Hedonism is where you seek short-term pleasures. Eudaimonia is where you seek long-term happiness in terms of responsibility, long-term pleasures like, you know,
Yeah.
like fulfillment of yourself,
Sustained gratification, yeah.
self-actualization, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But people who seek short-term pleasures like sex, drugs, alcohol, purely for that sake. It's not bad to have sex. It's not bad to drink alcohol. Drugs, maybe that's a different topic. But when you go purely down that route, you are going down a hedonistic route in which you are going to be unhappy long term. And you are going to seek validation from all your peers in the sense of taking the highest pseudo-moralistic stance in which I'm denouncing the bad people and I'm over here.
Right.
Without thinking things through. Without actually thinking things through. So they take this pseudo-moralistic stance, yeah.
Did you hear that? He said you don't think.
Yeah, you guys have low IQs. The nuclear weapons go off. I'm just kidding.
We're at Civil War.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this kind of culture, it's so strange nowadays. It is now June 11th, 2019, and we are still in this kind of toxic culture, we would say. So there's this idea of the left versus the right, and the left is very, very dominant in terms of social media. And let me give you an example. So recently on YouTube, a very famous platform, very popular, there is this YouTuber called Steven Crowder. He's this comedian type right-winger guy. No one takes him seriously. He likes to make fun of a lot of people. He's like a bro, you know what I mean? He's got his bro gang. They're like a frat guys, you know. Their audience is mostly frat guys, I would assume, or people who like to have a good laugh. So recently he decided to talk about an individual on a channel called Vox. And Vox is also known as a news outlet.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so people have accused them of being like heavy leftists. They like to put out a lot of content that's quite, identity politics wise, and they like to side with a lot of leftist policies in general. So there's this individual, I think it's the anchor or one of the journalists on Vox. I forget his name, but he identifies as a gay.
Which is fine, by the way.
Which is fine.
Yeah. We have Dave Rubin, right? He's gay.
Doesn't matter if you're gay.
Yeah.
No one really cares.
Right.
I don't.
It's a free country.
It's a free country.
Yeah.
He was recently talked about by Steven Crowder. So he ends up crying about it, literally. He goes to Twitter, he goes to Facebook, he even messages YouTube directly. And, you know, he's saying like, oh, I feel so attacked. I don't mind that I think his words were, I don't mind that this Steven Crowder guy is, offending me, but how could you let someone like this be like free on your platform when you guys have strictly said that you support LGBTQ individuals even during Pride Month, and he's listing up like all these different reasons to like take off these individual, but he really means Steven Crowder.
Right.
They end up caving YouTube, and they demonetize him. So what that means is they pretty much make dormant all of his content, all of his videos. So he's not making any money at all.
Yeah.
He's not off the platform. He just can't really make any revenue from YouTube at all.
Yeah.
So they get away with, oh, he's still on the platform, so we didn't really ban him.
Or shadow ban him or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a form of banning, pretty much. A lot of people have responses to this, even Laura Chen, and we keep name dropping her, geez.
Lauren.
So
free advertising for you.
Free advertising. So a lot of people responding: Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Laura Chen, us even, and most right wingers, I would suppose, on YouTube, they're not happy. Because they have a long history of being silenced by a lot of these platforms, either it be Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and this is another example of a company just caving, I suppose.
Pandering.
Because I guess they're under a lot of pressure in general, and that's my opinion. They're under so much surveillance from the leftists in general.
Which can be understandable.
Because they're trying to appeal to both sides, and they're trying to make the most money, and they're trying to, expand as well. So it's very difficult for them to make policies and guidelines that really make everyone happy. But what do you think about this whole situation?
If I was the CEO or the people operating the company, I would ask myself, who is our bigger audience? And if the bigger audience was, let's say, people on the left, I would say that we don't necessarily have to pander to him. It depends on how big that tweet was that the guy sent out.
He sent like a lot.
It was a lot. It was a big tweet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if that was the case, I would have done the same thing, except maybe not as harsh, because I know that there's another side. It's kind of like Andrew Yang, right? Andrew Yang, he's a Democratic guy who's on the Democratic Party, in the Democratic Party. But he's been going on all these conservative shows. Why?
I think he's like the only Democrat nowadays that actually does that.
Yeah, exactly. Because he understands that there's another side, right? And he understands that, this other side doesn't like identity politics. Probably he doesn't either, which doesn't seem like he does. But he understands how to campaign in the long term. Long term meaning, hey, let's go over all these other people who are potentially voters as well. If I do get the ticket for the candidacy in the Democratic Party, then I have to get all these other voters too. Like, it's better to start early, right?
It's that way of thinking. I can understand that.
Yeah, it's a long-term thinking, and it's rational thinking, So if I was the company, it depends. I don't know. It really depends, because I understand the goal of a company is to maximize profits, minimize costs, right? And to expand their outlook into the long term to see what is the best route we can take so that we can grow the biggest we can, right? And to have the most influence that we can. That's the goal of a company. And to make the most sales and revenue and whatever, right? But is it really the case? The question now becomes, is it really the case that the future is on the left? Right? Because if it was, then they should side with them.
Right.
If it is not, then they should go in the middle, and they should say, hey, look, we understand that some people are offended, but it is a free platform. We have in this country laws that have the First Amendment right, freedom of speech, and they should be allowed to say whatever they want. And if that is the case, you don't have to listen to that content, and we can find ways for you to be more comfortable on the platform, but they should still be allowed to say whatever they want. But the question is the way of the future more on the left or more on the right or more in the center? Where is it? And I think that's where the company should go.
I think it was very difficult for YouTube in this scenario, because they previously made guidelines, I think, that were tailored for LGBTQ individuals and most of the leftist community. Yeah. Because they're a creative platform. Yeah. So anything goes. And, I would say most of the audiences on YouTube, they're not watching podcasts. They're not watching Dave Rubin. They're not watching like all these news outlet shows. They're watching like makeup videos, and they're watching like these kid unboxing toy videos, and so it's a bunch of kids on the platform, and when they see like a hateful type of, I won't say hateful, but a very like aggressive speech from a certain YouTuber, they see that as non-acceptable to their audience. Yeah. So down he goes. But
it pisses me off, because I'm like,
I think honestly there should be a different platform for things like this, like podcasts and news outlets, like people for like Jordan Peterson. So people for like higher intellects, where they can freely spread their content without it being monitored or regulated. But I don't think YouTube's really for that, to be honest, anymore. Because they're mostly pandering for companies. Like, they're trying to get the bad ad deal, or they're trying to attract like the most audience members. They're not really on board with optimizing like intellectual thinkers here and there. But yeah, that's my solution to it. Just create a different platform. That's specifically for people like Steven Crowder, or people like higher intellects that we listen to, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, maybe even Jason Capital. So yeah, it's kind of strange because YouTube is now, they're everything.
Yeah.
They got it all.
Yeah. In all honesty, so many people are shifting towards YouTube. They've been shifting towards YouTube in the past like few years. So.
Well, it's so easily accessible, that's why.
Yeah.
And there's no other platform like it of its kind. Like, they don't even have any competitors, do they? Like, there's no place like them on the internet.
Not that it seems like, at least. Yeah,
right,
for sure.
yeah. So it has that much audience and has that much ad revenue.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be quite a while for another platform to pop up. But that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
What are we at? We're at an hour and 19.
Wow,
I
only
believe.
an hour and 19. It feels like it's been like an hour and
Feels
like
like it's-
something.
A little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but go on. You're saying?
but what's been happening lately, to be honest? There was a Steven Crowder thing. What else? There was a crash in New York, helicopter. Did you
I
hear
heard
about
about
that?
that. I
Yeah,
heard about
some individual crashed on top of the building. I think he was trying to land, but he ended up dying.
One person died, right?
I think it was the pilot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need a license, like a airplane license to drive a helicopter, or is that like a separate
I
license?
think it's, I have no idea, but I think it's a separate license. I feel like it would be a separate license.
I think it would be too, because it's different machinery. So
Yeah, different machinery, exactly. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool though to get a pilot's license, because that's the ultimate form of transportation, right? So you don't have to deal with LA
That's another
traffic. You can just
The jet plane. You
Get
just got to
in-
take
get
off
in-
and just go around
get
the
your
world.
GX 400 and drive off. Yeah,
I'm sure you can get your aviation license. I wanna try that. I wanna get my aviation license. It's a thing in the future where like you can just go in like small little airplanes. You know, you can just fly them around and whatnot. Average people can get their aviation license.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to local airports here and there. You don't have to even go to those international airports. too.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's very convenient.
Yeah.
But the upkeep of an airplane too, and then you got to follow these regulations and
yeah,
rules.
yeah.
You got to contact air traffic control all the time, and
Yeah.
you got to make sure everything's okay. And I learned that if you get any kind of eye surgery, you can never get your aviation license.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
It's just a thing. Because I think when it comes to the low pressure, way up in the sky, if the surgery wasn't done like really correctly, something can pop or something can go wrong in your eyes. Therefore, blurring your vision and you can't fly a plane. So
Wow.
I know any Air Force pilot, they can't get surgery on their eyes at all. But yeah, that'd be really cool. Probably cost a lot too. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm down for it because I hate traffic. I hate it.
Yeah, I might as well just fly to my destination.
Might as well fly to my job.
I just fly over LA traffic. Haha, suckers.
my company will have a parking lot for planes. They'll have a runway instead of a parking lot.
Oh no. God, that'd be great.
Oh, imagine that's the future. That'd be really cool. What if a
That'd be
company,
very good.
what if like,
Flying cars.
even like Amazon can do that. Like instead of
Yeah.
a parking lot, they can just give
Just-
everyone like a mini airplane.
Yeah.
Or like a
my
hang
God.
glider.
Just drop off the package with like a parachute.
They airdrop you in. Go to work, guys. That'd be the dream.
Wow.
But yeah, I once read an article that it's getting more difficult to hire airplane pilots
Really?
for like airports. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's not the best job.
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're in an airplane like 23 hours a day,
Yeah, that's
and
a little
you got to deal
tedious.
with like all this stuff,
Yeah.
and like you're sleep deprived here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah.
It's not the best job.
Yeah.
And I don't think they even pay that well, to be honest. It's like 45, 55. There's gotta be more than that. That's
I have no
not
idea.
for that price to keep people safe on an airplane. Yeah,
It's a lot.
that's concerning. But yeah,
Wow.
when's the last time you flew?
The last time I flew.
You went to New York, right?
Yeah, that was the last time.
Yeah.
January, went to New York with a friend, and
You were a tourist for that day. Or for
Was a
that-
tourist,
for
yeah.
that weekend.
yeah, first time I went to New York since I was in the first grade. Beautiful experience, beautiful. I loved it. We were right next to the new World Trade Center.
Okay.
The hotel was like right there, and from the view, you could see the big tower, the World Trade Center. You know, and it was just something else, man. It was something else. It was a completely different experience. I can't say when you're doing something in person versus seeing it in pictures, it is a completely different experience, and you can't express that, you know? You have to actually go through it.
You sound like a motivational poster right now.
Yeah, you know, I gotta talk to Tony Robbins, you know. But
yeah,
that's what it is.
that sounds cool.
That's what it is.
Traveling is cool. Would you do that in the future?
I would.
Anywhere you go?
I would absolutely. If I can sustain a job and or a business or whatever it is, and I can travel at the same time, I would do so. Depends on the cost and how much I would travel and who I would travel with and all that kind of stuff, you know. But overall, I would try to travel a decent amount and see the world as much as I can.
Yeah, that's the dream, isn't it? To travel the world.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I've been to India. Not a great place.
That's not really a tourist destination.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Maybe the Taj Mahal and maybe certain cities, but overall, not really a good place to be.
It's like 90% of it, maybe. It's not that desirable.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And this is just the truth, not the politically correct version of everything. But yeah, it is the truth. It's not a very desirable place to be.
Yeah, I hear it's like even better than Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mexico's better than India to visit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's true.
Because, you know, in that kind of setting, not only is there a bunch of people crammed in like small places, but the economy there, it doesn't really help the individual person at all.
Yeah.
Like there's not even an individual idea out there in India.
No.
Like it's all survival of the fittest, probably.
It literally is that. It's that.
There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of
100%. It's not even just survival of the fittest, but it's like beyond survival of the fittest. It's like there are very few opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about equality of opportunity, equality of outcome. There's no equality of opportunity in India.
There's no equality of anything in them.
There's no equality of anything, exactly. And that's where it sucks. That's why we live in such a great country today. But everyone wants to fucking complain and like, oh my God, no, America's like...
You always go back to that argument. Do you even know what it's like in India?
Yeah, do you even know what it's like?
You're like a grandpa.
Do you even know what it's like in China or any of these other countries, dude? Like in African countries, like you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Like it's such a bad deal. You have very few opportunities, but beyond that, it's such an uncomfortable situation. Forget the weather, okay? The weather's already bad enough. It's like 115 degrees and it's like 40% humidity, which is like nothing compared to here. It's like a waterfall. You sweat like 2 minutes out into the weather.
Yeah.
It smells like shit everywhere, literally like shit. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm actually meaning this.
Right.
Because there's cows everywhere, animals everywhere roaming the streets. They're taking a crap everywhere. Nobody's cleaning it up. The roads are just dirt roads. There's no paved roads.
There's like no traffic laws either.
There's no traffic laws. Yeah. There's no like lanes separating drivers. So like drivers are like intertwining everywhere. They're trying to not crash like head on into each other. Girls are getting raped on buses, like gang raped and whatnot, and there's no one regulating this kind of stuff. Cops are being bribed left and right. They literally, you can get pulled over. I was me and my sister and my aunt went on a motorcycle when I was in India. This is like years and years ago. We got pulled over by a cop because the law says that you cannot have more than two riders on a bicycle or not a bicycle, a motorcycle.
Sure.
Like a moped, right? So the cop says, hey, we got to give you a ticket and whatever. My aunt says, please let me go. It's okay. Like, I'm sorry. I won't do it again, whatever. The cop's like, no, I got to give you a ticket. She's like, okay, I'll give you 1,000 rupees, which is the currency there.
How much is that in USD?
USD, good question. That's like 40 bucks.
Really? That's all it takes?
40 bucks. 40 bucks. 40 bucks, bro. And he was like, he fought for it. He actually fought though. He fought. In all fairness, he was like, no, I can't take that, whatever, and this and that. She's like, no, please take it. I'll just leave. Like, it's not a big deal. And he eventually pocketed the money and we just left.
Okay.
Corruption. Right then and there.
Well, it's desperation, right?
It might be desperation.
He probably had to feed his family or something like that.
Maybe. And that's the problem though.
Yeah.
But it's because people don't provide him opportunities, them opportunities. There's a state, Punjab. There's a drug problem going on there. I don't know if the drug problem is still as prevalent as today, but it was a while ago. And these kids doing heroin and like 12-year-old kids. Okay?
Right.
So these cops, they will literally confiscate the drugs and they'll sell them at a profit to other people.
Right.
This is the corruption that goes on, and it's so bad I can't even explain it. You have to go there and see it.
Mm-hmm. Don't go there and see it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Take his word for it.
Yeah, take my word for it. If you really don't want to take my word, go for it and document it. And then explain it to the web. But it's bad. It's bad, dude. Like maybe it's better nowadays because it's becoming more and more modern as the years go by. And India is one of the fastest growing economies.
They have McDonald's now.
Yeah, they do have. I've been to one of their McDonald's.
Yeah.
It was literally filled with thousands of flies flying everywhere inside the McDonald's. Inside. Right, like if you today in America, if you go into a McDonald's,
if there's like I don't know a rat, like a single rat,
oh yeah,
they're shut down.
Oh yeah, exactly. If you go into a McDonald's in America today, it's like you see a couple flies. All right, whoa, this might not be a clean
That's too many
place.
flies.
There, it's like thousands of flies, literally flying all over your food and everything, and it's like, oh, this is fine. This is normal. And it's bad. It's so bad. It's so unsanitary. But they're used to it. You know, when you get used to an environment like that, it's all good. It's like it's just normal. You know, you see those videos of like, and this is very sad. This is why it's important to understand the opportunities that we have here, the great country that we live in, and the amazing lifestyle that we live. Right, but if you see these videos of kids in Africa, they literally like these starved kids. They're people filming them documentaries and everything. They have flies coming on their face, and they don't even notice. It's like they just come and they're just like sitting still.
I can tell you don't like bugs in general.
Yeah,
like,
bugs.
Like
bugs. I don't. Forget the flies though, but just in general, man.
You don't like anything disgusting in general.
I'm not a fan.
Not a bug fan.
I'm very like, ew, get away.
Poor things. Ew.
Very, very disgust intolerant.
Oh yeah.
But we go.
He can barely survive right now, folks.
Yeah, it's nature, you know.
Yeah. He can't handle a park.
It's a park. It's filled with bugs and everything.
It's filled with trees where insects live.
But in all honesty, it's just a sad thing, and to see that. But I don't think we really truly understand. And that's what my dad always tells me is that, these people who don't really appreciate what they have, you have to send them to a different country where they don't have even close to the same opportunity. And that's the only way they will ever truly understand what they're blessed with and what they really have.
Do you think if you sent leftists to India for like a week, they would change their mind?
I don't know, to be honest.
You don't know?
It depends on who.
Might take longer.
It might take longer. It depends on who, because they're so embroiled in their echo chamber that
2 weeks.
I don't know. 2 weeks. Well, I feel like you would have to educate them along the way. Like you would have to tell them, like, see, look, here's what the outside world has.
Right.
They, in fact, if you don't educate them on that, and if you don't lead them down the right path, they might come back and say, we can absolutely not afford to be like that, so we're going to double down on our position. And they might just illogically go down that same route. But I would say we have to educate them along the way.
Okay.
And see where things head.
Wow, that sounds very bad.
Yeah.
Over there.
It's very bad.
Jeez. I mean, even in China, it's not as bad poverty-wise, but they have a huge surveillance issue where they censor a lot of internet in general, like a lot of speech in general. Yeah. Like there's no YouTube over there. A lot of companies can't show their products in China because the government sees it as unfit or propaganda. So they're very restricted over there. Even in Russia too. I don't know what it's like in Russia, to be honest. Most of the
in
today's modern age.
I don't know, to be honest.
Because to be honest, we didn't even figure out that Stalin killed like 20 million people until like the 1970s.
I know. That's the saddest thing.
They really keep their history locked up.
People always talk about Hitler. It's like, dude.
Look at our ally, yeah.
Yeah, no one talks about, everyone talks about the extreme right-wing end of the spectrum with Hitler. No one talks about the extreme left-wing with Mao and Stalin.
Right.
So that's the problem, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, big time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's good to live in Russia.
Yeah.
They probably have the good economics, things like that. They are a world power, after all, so. I think that Vladimir Putin, that's the guy. He's been in power for like 10 years.
He's in power. I think he's been in power for a long time.
For a long time.
And he's finding ways to keep himself in power.
Yeah. So
I've heard that.
He's,
I don't know if it's true, but
he's got it going for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so scary. Like in every political TV drama I see, Russia is always like the bad guys.
Yeah.
They're always like the people to watch out for.
Yeah, the ones with the spies and all that.
The one with like the hunger for oil, or the ones for like
Yeah.
who don't care about like any treaties or any like UN documents.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that could be America too, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I've never really met a Russian, like an authentic Russian person. Maybe like in university here and there, but I've never like got time to know them. Like what it's like over there. How do you like it here?
Yeah.
How did you grow up? Things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, even with you, you're probably like the most, I guess, different person that I've met.
Yeah.
You know, you've been to India. Like you know what it's like. You come from an Indian family. My other friends were just Hispanic Americans.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
mainly my circle.
Right.
With some Asians here and there. But yeah.
Yeah.
You plan to take the DNA test soon to figure out where you're from?
Good question.
I know you're from India, but do you want to know which part?
I don't know. I want to.
23andMe, I think that's what
But
it's called.
it's 23andMe.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I've heard of Ancestry.com.
They provide that service. It's called, yeah.
Okay.
It's called the 23andMe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question. I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm kind of interested.
I would be interested. I would definitely be interested.
Because my grandfather had green eyes. I just found
really?
out. Yeah, on my mom's side.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird.
Okay.
So my mom claims that we're Spanish and Irish. I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know about that. My dad's side is purely Mexican.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, if that's the case, you might want to take
Yeah, I
this.
might want to take it.
Yeah.
Because my last name's Spanish. I'm not really a Mexican. So who knows?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're not really. Oh, so it's more. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, my last name? Yeah, it's from Spain.
Spain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
from
a
Mexico.
Mexican name.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Matthew is kind of like it's from Bible. Mexican.
Right.
But my last name, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe one day. I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know too.
Well, uncover the secrets. We'll show you the tests.
Where I'm really
might
from. Yeah.
Yeah, I might take it.
Imagine finding out you weren't born in America. What would you do?
Born in America?
Yeah. What if you were
So I
like,
wasn't an American citizen?
you were an American citizen?
Ooh. Do I have permanent residency or no?
Let's say like they fake the documents.
And I have a permanent residency.
But you know you're really from like India or something like that.
Oh, God.
Like those presidency.
I would try to live here as long as I could. And I would try to amass as much wealth as I could so I could take it back home to India and live a decent life, which there are people who live decent lives in India, but they don't live the best lives.
That's really common nowadays. A lot of immigrants, they come here, they work, and then they spend the money back to where they came from.
Yeah, wire the money?
They wire the money over, yeah.
Yeah.
So they send it back to their families, or there's like special companies now that do that. Is that illegal? I don't know.
I don't think it's illegal technically, but I think I would have to double check. I don't know.
I mean, it's your money, right? So you earned it.
It's your
so
money,
So you can do
right?
whatever you want with it, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they say it's morally not correct. It's not right.
You're not helping the economy.
Yeah, you're not helping the
you're not
economy.
American.
You're not like
Yeah.
you're not participating in the American economy. You're not really. But I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no idea, to be honest.
We're no experts on foreign policy.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to be.
Yeah.
To be
I would
honest.
have to do my research on that one, to be honest.
But yeah. So, you want anything else?
Not that I can think of. I wish I could think of something, but it's. I feel like I've drained myself out now.
Officially drained out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can barely go an hour and a half, really. It's been almost an hour and 40 minutes.
Hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good episode in the park.
Yeah.
Odyssey Picnic.
Odyssey Picnic.
Should probably rename it that.
Oh, Lord, that's funny. Yeah, Odyssey Picnic.
So, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
And more to come.
More to come.
Stay tuned.